Hello, my name is Paul Barnett, the host of the Great Coaches Podcast. I have interviewed more than 200 of the world's great sports coaches, and in this video, I'm going to share with you what I have learned from them about building team connection. To do that, I'm going to share video from the great coaches, and their voices will amplify and complement each other. And hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll walk away with 6 ideas that you can use to improve the connection within your own sporting, work, or community team. In 2022, I was lucky enough to have a follow-up meeting with 2 of the great coaches we have interviewed, Eddie Jones and Neil Craig. And they challenged me to go away and see if I could find a thriving or a high-performing teams model that best represented the way that the great coaches talk about the teams that they lead. The model that I eventually chose was the Thriving Teams model that came from the consultancy Thomson Harrison, created in conjunction with the Oxford University professor Robin Dunbar. Their model builds from the idea that teams thrive when individuals do, and they identify 6 areas that help improve thriving. And they are belonging, purpose and connection, and then learning, culture and values. In today's video, I'm going to focus in on connection. Your work on creating a sense of belonging and purpose is kept alive by the connection within the team. As the cricket coach Justin Langer said to us, camaraderie is the glue that keeps everything together. For this kind of connection to happen, there must be an understanding that being a teammate is sometimes more important than being a friend. And this was something that the gold medal winning volleyball coach Hugh McCutcheon talked to us about.
And I think part of the magic to high functioning teams is authenticity and the ability to operate in truth. So if we can get our teams to be friendly, and not that friendship isn't cool or is not something that might come to fruition or already there, that's fine. We're not against friendship. We're just saying be friendly to everybody. Certainly be honest and direct, but that doesn't mean you get to be mean. You've got to be kind and considerate, but you've got to build empathy and understanding. You've got to get to know people. You've got to be respectful, inclusive. All that kind of stuff matters. And one of the other big things on teams, I think, is also the ability to forgive, because we're all tainted with the human condition and we all make mistakes. And so I talk in the book about forgive and learn, but I think that's the way to go. Forgive and forget, that leads yourself to make the same mistake again. So don't forget, but certainly forgive and learn, where forgiveness is I forgive you and we move on, right? We're not going to hold on to grudges. But all of that stuff around teams affords the group the chance to be real and to be themselves, to feel safe, to build trust. And ultimately, in my opinion, trust is the currency that makes high-functioning teams work. And if there are spaces between what you say and what you do, be that on the court or even socially, then trust is compromised. So being able to give people the freedom to be accepted for who they are, for them to commit to the team in a way that's authentic and to build relationships that are based in truth, affords us the opportunity to really bring that into the court, pitch, field, whatever, and build on that foundation.
The connections with teammates sustain the team through competitive and pressure situations. And this type of connection is often described using words like chemistry or cohesion. In fact, the rugby union coach Ben Darwin described cohesion to us as something that allows you to intuitively understand each other. And he thought it was a bigger indicator of success than team culture. And here he is expressing this idea.
What I'm focused on is an objective way to measure the understanding between people. In simple terms, we talk about interpersonal understanding. So a small team will learn to do something faster than a big team, like in the military, or a basketball team will learn to play together faster, and they'll do certain things more quickly. And so what we're just basically trying to do is to measure those components and see how that affects performance. And so the way I describe the work is, it's the understanding of the level of understanding between the component parts of a team is much more predictive of outcome than the individual skill. So what I would say, the answer to that mental processes component is, it's what you don't have to remember. It's what makes you win. If I know the plays inherently, and I'll do them without thinking, because you have to do that a lot of the time in performance, you have to be able to act without thinking. So you don't have to think, the easier it is. And so for those people who are performing in high cohesion environments, the level of clarity is remarkable. For people in low cohesion environments, it's a complete panic and not knowing.
But building this kind of connection, or as Ben refers to it, cohesion, is difficult. We're often dispersed from each other and we're members of many different teams. It could be the sales team, it could be the Tuesday night basketball team, or it could be a community group that raises money for charity. But I think there is another barrier that prevents this kind of connection taking hold. And that is, it requires a degree of emotional commitment from the individual in order for it to work. Here is the American football coach, Shane Beamer, expressing this idea.
I truly believe being connected and being a team is about loving and caring for one another. And people think, well, you can't say that on a football team. And it's not always wrap your arms around each other and hunky-dory and soft and sappy. So we say with our players a lot, like, love is also having hard conversations with people and being willing to tell them the truth. Because I love you, I need to tell you this. And because I love you, I'm going to make it really hard for you in the weight room or on the practice field in order for you to be at your very best as well. And I think it's very powerful. We want to be the closest team, the most connected team in the country. And we're not afraid to have hard conversations, but we're not afraid to tell each other that we love each other as well. And the fact that players will call me and tell me that, or be in my office, and when they shake hands and walk out, they'll say that, I think is pretty cool and what it's all about. And there's a lot of great things about coaching, but the relationships that you're able to build with one another and the connections that you're able to make are right up at the top.
So if connection is important to thriving and it requires some degree of emotional commitment to take hold, how do we go about building it? Well, here are 6 ideas that I think can help.
Number 1, prepare.
Nicole Pratt is the Australian Billie Jean King Cup tennis team, and she also coaches many individual players on the Pro Tour. Here, she talks about what the team do when they're apart to prepare for the times when they come back together again. And she uses this wonderful phrase to explain her idea. And she says, taking a little bit of time out of self. Here is Nicole.
For the most part, 10, 11 months of the year, individuals working with separate teams around them the whole year. And then we get them to come into a BJK Cup, or on the men's side, the Davis Cup. And you've got a very small window of them actually being a team without their normal team around them. So I think the pre-planning that's required from, let's say, myself, Sam Stoss is the current BJK Cup, as well as Leighton Hewitt, the Davis Cup captain. It's the preparation and the different activities, let's say, that we do throughout the year that helps us then be a team at the end. So trying to encourage more players to hit with each other during the year. Some of our players to go support the other players when they're at tournaments, just taking a little bit of time out of self to then give to others as well, I think is a really important value that we try and instill in our players.
Number 2, establish authenticity.
One of the things that ignites connection is authenticity. Here is the Australian Rules football coach, Alan McConnell, talking about this.
Connection is a very powerful thing in life, not just in sport. And I think connection for me requires a degree of authenticity. And if everything's rosy all the time, it's not authentic. If everything is terrible all the time, it's also not authentic. So I think that notion that connection encompasses care and support, but also at the same time challenge is fundamental to it. And I guess it's the art of coaching, not the science of coaching, because picking the right moments to kick the athlete's butt and the right time to give them a cuddle is a gift.
One way of building authenticity is to share your story. Here is the Australian football coach, Damien Hardwick, giving an example of this.
And they had this concept that they did called Triple H, which was hero, hardship and highlight. And so we started to talk about connection as a team and connection as individuals. And we thought if we could strengthen that connection, that it would become a really beneficial thing for our footy club. And, you know, one of the first players to stand up was a young guy by the name of Brandon Ellis, who I'd coached for 6 or 7 years. And he told a story. And I was embarrassed as a coach that I didn't know the story about one of my best players. You know, I didn't have the deep connection that I thought I had. I thought I was good, but in reality, I was just touching the surface of my relationship with the players. I didn't really know the individual that was inside that exterior. And that sort of brought about a little bit of, well, you know what, I've got to dig a little bit deeper here. Because the connection piece for me is a word that really, when I think about all my success that I've had as a coach, but also as a player, it was the stronger our connection both on and off the field as a side, the better we replicated that success on field. And that was the one thing that I think we really, really went to work on in the 2017 season and have, you know, continued to delve into that, because they're just such pivotal conversations that bring you closer together. And if you're closer, you're going to do things, more importantly, above and beyond what you'll normally do for someone that's a teammate or a friend or a work colleague.
Number 3, be visible with each other.
While sharing stories is important, sometimes connection is just about being present and sharing small moments with each other. Here is another example from the American football coach, Shane Beamer, to illustrate this.
We have 120 players that are on our football team, and then coaches and staff that work in this building that I'm in right now. I've never wanted to be a coach that just sits in his office all day and the door is shut. I'm a guy that wants to be, I'm a people person and I want to connect with people. And so that's, you know, bouncing around our building and being in the weight room or popping my head in the locker room or going in the training room and saying hello to people and whatnot. And then that's the biggest thing. To me, any interaction with somebody in this building or two people, it's a force multiplier. And it may be as simple as just walking down the hall and say their name and ask them how they're doing and just connecting with them in that 5-second moment can make a huge difference in that person's day. Player, coach, staff members, to try and do that just as much as I can and just be visible where they see me as well.
Number 4, understand your impact.
There are many roles within an organisation that are critical to success. It could be the sales team. It could be the first 11. It could be the people that work in the accounting department. But understanding the way all of these people come together and pass the baton from one to another in order to generate success is critical, especially for the head coach. Here is an example from the rugby league coach Sean Wayne talking about this idea and how he brings it to life in his teams to build connection.
Connection with me is really important because I think to have a successful organisation, people have to feel connected. The fact is, we will not win a grand final this year, any of my grand finals, if players didn't get paid on time. I made sure our club accountant was on that picture. The players knew him, he knew the players. We're all, at the end of the day, in it for one thing to our final. So you speak to a cleaner, to our performance stadium here, and you speak to him and ask them what to do, and they just say, we win grand finals. That's what their job is. So having that connection that when we win, we all win, everybody in the organisation plays a role. And it's very important to me that the players understand what everybody does, what the cleaner does, how clean the place is, to enable them to never be ill and train every day, and what the chef does and what the accountant does and how important their role is. And because the club wouldn't function.
Number 5, mindset.
One way of thinking about connection is, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to strengthen it? Kevin Eastman is a basketball coach who was with the Boston Celtics in 2008 when they won the NBA championship. Here he talks about sacrifice and how his team thought about it and used it to propel the connection and the performance of their group.
There's the ways that winning teams look at sacrifice, and I believe there's a difference in the way the winner looks at sacrifice, this word. And there's a difference. There's some teams out there that do a lot of winning, but they're never the winner. And in pro sports in particular, especially in the NBA, you get into that as a coach and a player, ultimately to win something that you can't buy. Right? Even though they make all that money, they can't buy the world championship ring that we got in 2008 with the Celtics, right? So it comes down to question number one would be, what are you willing to sacrifice? And if we ask the common person on the street, define sacrifice for us, they would probably say something to the effect of, it's something I give up. And it truly is. You do have to give up something for the betterment of the team. But to take that a step further to what we found the best teams, the ones that really are competing for becoming the best and ultimately become the best, it's not something you just give up. It's what you do for a teammate.
Number 6, evaluate it.
Coaches are great observers. They are always looking across the team, trying to find small insights that can help them form deeper observations around what's going on within the team. In this example, the Australian basketball coach Andre Lemanis talks about how he uses observation to understand what connection is occurring within the group.
It's the ability to connect with people is what it is. Like I said earlier in the interview, coaching is just about the ability to influence. You're not out there playing, you can't change that. And so all you can do is influence people, and people do it different ways. I believe trust is a big one, building trust, that the player knows that you ultimately have their best interests at heart and you're not in it for yourself, that you're in it actually to help them. And if you can get to that point and build that trust with a player, then you really can influence. And so I guess when I'm watching players now, it is how they're connecting with their teammates.
There are some fundamentals, though, that must be in place for any of these ideas to take hold. And the first of those is that there must be a foundation of trust. Here is the netball coach, Jill McIntosh, talking about this.
I think we look at the physical and we look at the psychological side of our game, and the teams you've mentioned and all the teams, when you look at them at the top, physically there's not much that separates them. They work with some excellent sports science personnel in this day and age, and so they're well conditioned. Everything about them is good. So it comes down to that little percentage of the psychological aspect. And some of the teams you've mentioned, it is exactly that, where they fall down. And building respect, I think, is a big thing. And as I mentioned before about gelling all the different aspects. And if players don't have respect for each other and respect for the personnel around them, then it falls apart.
There also has to be an element of personal pride for the individual within the team. And it's also important that the head coach recognises this and talks to that individual in such a way that it motivates them and brings this idea to the fore. Here is the gold medal winning rowing coach, Tony O'Connor, talking about this.
We talk about teams a lot and we actually forget about the individual. The team is made up of individuals. And even though it's a team, we still do it for our own personal satisfaction. You talk about rowing being a team sport, and it is, but you're actually doing it for yourself. And when it comes down to it, most people will say they don't do it for their country. You hear that a lot in movies. I've done it for wave the flag and all that. But most people don't do it for the country. And most people, even though they really respect their teammates, and in some cases they're their best mates, etc., they're not actually doing it for them either. They are on the same journey at the same time, and you learn a lot from and you support each other, but you're actually doing it for yourself. So I think taking personal pride is not a bad thing. I think it's really important that you take personal pride from what you're doing. And if you didn't get a personal buzz from something, we generally don't do it as a species. We back away and we do something else. If it benefits the team, then it's a bonus.
I hope you enjoyed this video and found a few ideas that you can bring back to your own team for discussion. When I was preparing it and looking at the videos of the great coaches, these are some of the questions I wrote down to challenge myself and my own leadership with. The first was, what are we doing when we're apart to prepare for the times when we are together? The second was, what can we do to be more authentic with each other? The third was, how can we share information with each other that deepens our understanding of what drives us as individuals? The fourth was, how can we use small daily moments to help build connection? And the fifth was, what more can we do to understand the linkages that connect people across the organisation? If you liked this video, please check out our website, thegreatcoachespodcast.com, where we have loads of material like this designed to help you be a better leader and to strengthen the performance of your team.